Okay, we are back for another week. I am Galate74, and in today's video, I will be bringing you guys week 2 of UPA versus Seth. Like every coach, his link will be in the description below. His link will be prioritized over others because he is my opponent this week. My opponent this week has a really relaxing voice in his videos, and he is the coach of the Kentucky Keldeo. I assume he is from there because he's got a strong accent that sounds like it would be from Kentucky, which is really nice. It makes for a nice narrative type of video. Plus, he did, I think, recently reach 200 subs, so big congrats to that, and make sure to go check out his side of the battle after this, I would assume. Moving on, and a spoiler from last week, we won. It was a game that I think I could have personally played better. I really liked my game plan and prep a lot. While the execution and awareness wasn't bad in the game, I definitely made some big misplays, especially with the ROTOM, and I feel like I could have, played better because it was so obvious. But that's in the past. It was a W, so we'll look at it from a positive outlook. And we're going to move on into this week's matchup, which isn't that bad for us. Prepping for this game was quite annoying, but I know his team's kind of built in a way where I think it looks better on paper than it will perform, as you guys will see in a few moments when I go over his team. So that's what we're going to do now. So you see our teams on screen now. I'm not going to list off my team, but I'll quickly look at my opponent's team. His team is going to be G-Max Corviknight, Zygarde 50, Arcanine, Mienshao, Seismitoad, Chansey, Heliolisk, Armaldo, Skuntank, Vanillix, and Roselia. The reason I said what I just said was because of Pokemon like Chansey, Defensive Arcanine, and Defensive Zygarde sorta. All three of those Pokemon are pretty passive, so my team can have a great job of taking advantage of those this week because my team's kind of built on taking advantage of passive Pokemon like the Chansey, the Arcanine, the Zygarde if they come, which I do believe will come in this week's battle. Corviknight, another note, is a really big threat, especially a bulk upset is something I'm extremely scared of. G-Max is just insane. I do have two really good answers to this Pokemon, however, that's it. And on top of that, these two Pokemon don't do well in the general outlook of the battle. So they're kind of not only here for Corviknight, but their main roles are for Corviknight, which is pretty scary. So I have to be careful of that. I have to be cautious of a setup Zygarde. Zygarde alone is not a threat to my team at all, but something like a Dragon Dance subset or a Coil subset, Coil, Glare, and paralyzing all my team could be very scary, and that thing can get out of hand if I don't keep it in check. Finally, some honorable mentions. Mienshao and Heliolisk are a little bit threatening to my team. I don't have the greatest switch-ins to these Pokemon, but I do have ways to deal with it. I just cannot completely ignore these threats. That's all I want to mention. And that's sort of it for my opponent's team. Looking at my team, I'm just going to forewarn right now, I have no hazard control on this team. Rocks are not a big deal for what I am bringing, and his only other hazard setter in Roselia is completely terrible in this matchup, so I don't really see that thing coming. And the other thing is that Knockoff is looking amazing here, and a few of my Pokemon do have amazing matchups, which is, we're going to go into in a second. But that is it for this portion of the team builder. What I am bringing this week is going to consist of Throw, KROOKODILE, ROTOM-WASH, CINCCINO, SIGILYPH, and G-Max Charizard. And we will begin this week by looking at our most important Pokemon, Throw, making its season debut with the leftovers. I know you guys can't see the EV spread, but this is a pretty def Throw with a little bit of defense, and I'm speed creeping no speed Chansey. My moves are Bulk Up, Storm Throw, Ice Punch, and Rest this week. This Pokemon is just absolutely amazing in this game. My opponent has no Psychic or Fairy type, so it can take advantage of so many different things. Bulking up is going to be extremely easy in this game. And I have Storm Throw because Storm Throw always crits. So I can start to maybe stack on with something like the Coil, Zygarde, or more importantly the Bulk Up Corviknight, and I can actually beat that thing by critting through its boosts. Now, I do want to try and bait out the G-Max before I set up with Throw and confidently stay in on Corviknight. I say this because the extra damage from Wind Rage could be a difference between the Wind Rage and Brave Bird, so I definitely want to be careful about that. And this thing might not even end up setting up, because this is my switch into things like the Zygarde mainly, Heliolisk. Vanillix if it decides to come, and maybe I might not have a chance to set up and might need to just use this thing as a consistent switch in, which is fine because I do have a cleaner and a kind of more of a setup threat later on as well. But this thing does look very important in this game. Rest and leftovers give me a decent amount of longevity, and I feel like Throw is going to put in a bunch of work. And it's coming week 2, which is pretty sick. Next up on our roster this week is KROOKODILE is holding the Choice Band. We're going for Power week 2. This is pretty offensively invested. My moves are Earthquake, Knockoff, Close Combat, and Darkest Lariat with the Moxie ability. As I mentioned in the builder, Knockoff is amazing in this game. Nothing wants to lose their item at all, whether it's Weakness Policy, Leftovers, Rocky Helmet on Corviknight, any Zygarde item, Chansey's Eviolite, which is the main thing I'm wanting to knock off here. It's just amazing. Once Corviknight's gone, if Corviknight is gone, then Earthquake looks really good in this game as well. It's pretty spammable. And then finally, I have Darkest Lariat. Just like Throw's Storm Throw, this is going to go through any types of boosts my opponent has. So if this Zygarde is like coiled up for whatever reason, my opponent might not expect KROOKODILE to just bust out a Choice Banded Darkest Lariat, and it's going to do a decent chunk of damage. Finally, I did have Intimidate over Moxie, but I decided to go with Moxie because while Intimidate is nice for offensive Arcanine, which is a little bit of a threat, Moxie really pressures him to go into an offensive threat to avenge this thing, because I'd rather force out something more offensive than something bulkier that can sit up in front of a KROOKODILE. So that's why I decided to go with Moxie in the end, and it could, I could clean with it. Its speed tier is not the best, but it's good enough. So that's KROOKODILE this week. And now, yet again, we are bringing a defensive set for ROTOM-WASH this week. It's pretty defensive. I have a little bit of speed in it with the leftovers. The moves are Volt Switch, Hydro Pump, Will-O-Wisp, and Pain Split. To keep it pretty brief, this is my main Corviknight answer. I should never lose the Corviknight if Rotom is around. This thing is not really the greatest in this game, but I need it for Corviknight basically, because that thing is a really big threat and gets in the way of my win con. If I have Rotom in on Corviknight, the first thing I'm always going to do is click Will-O-Wisp, just in case he wants to switch into something like the Heliolisk or the Zygarde. Both don't appreciate taking a burn, and I'll get something out of it. And then if he stays in, I can just burn the Corviknight, and then it's kind of useless, to be honest. I have Pain Split for longevity, just in case I can use this as an Arcanine switch in as well, particularly to more of an offensive Arcanine. That thing could be a little bit scary without Rotom, and then I have Pain Split for it, so not the end of the world there. That's all I really have to say about Rotom. Not the most important member, but I can't let Corviknight get out of the way, so there's that. By the thumbnail, you can tell what the next Pokemon is. This is the most important mon on the team this week. It's CINCCINO. I can't believe I'm already bringing this week 2 just like Throw. It's an Expert Belt set. It's a Jolly Nature with Skill Link ability. Moves being Tail Slap, Rock Blast, Triple Axle, and Bullet Seed. This is my cleaner of the week. This thing's coverage is amazing in this game. Absolutely bonkers. Besides Corviknight and Chansey with Eviolite, every single Pokemon on my opponent's team takes at least 70% or more from one of their CINCCINO's moves. That is insane. So I only need chip on a few different things. I need Corviknight pretty low, and then Chansey either knocked off, which shouldn't be too hard, or Chansey just low on health, and then CINCCINO just cleans this game. I do have the Scout for Scarfers, and I need to hit my moves because, most of these moves can miss, so I definitely have to watch out for that. But CINCCINO is going to play a massive role this week in cleaning up the game, and its matchup is just absolutely fantastic. Don't have too much else to say about it. Moving on to these last 2 Pokemon, they are not nearly as important as the other 4, but still worth going over, of course. First is SIGILYPH. SIGILYPH is holding the COLBUR Berry with the Magic Guard ability, max HP with 92 defense and the rest in speed, moves being Calm Mind, Stored Power, Heat Wave, and Roost. This was 100% the filler mon of the week. I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to put on yet, and then I kind of looked at what I needed, and this definitely fit the role, mainly because I needed a Mienshao switch in, something that can somewhat deal with Corviknight, quote quote, and then something that could maybe beat Chansey. And SIGILYPH does all 3 of these things. I'm not the biggest fan of Stored Power because I do not have the immediate power of Psychic or Psyshock, but Stored Power gives me a way to beat both Zygarde and Chansey if I set up less, if you know what I mean by that. So I decided it was okay in that sense. If I'm at +2, I can go through Zygarde. If I'm at +4, which is easy to do on Chansey, just takes a couple of roosts, then I can just beat that down with stored power as well. So SIGILYPH is going to be nice for that. Otherwise, that's kind of all it does. Colbur berries for the knockoff that Mienshao might click against me. So it would be nice if I can eat my Colbur berry, get a Calm Mind up, and then stored power and kill it. So that's that. And then I also want to mention that stored power about the Chansey and the Zygarde at +2 and +4 active boosts. So that is SIGILYPH. And then the second mon here that's not as important. Chansey gone for this thing to do anything, particularly for me to G-Max. I don't want to do it until Chansey's gone. Come in on an offensive standpoint and just beat it down with Flamethrower. Not too big of a deal. I decided for Dragon Pulse and Scorching Sands this week as my coverage moves because Dragon Pulse is for Zygarde and Scorching Sands is for stuff like the Arcanine or the Heliolisk if I'm Dynamaxed. It's really nice there. I went over Hurricane because I didn't really need the speed boost this week. Plus, it didn't really hit anything too much. And then I didn't go with Solar Beam for Seismitoad, frankly, because I don't think it's actually coming this week. So that's why I went with these coverage moves in the end. Wildfire is always just a broken G-Max move, so it's also a plus to this set. And I have heavy duty boost because of no hazard control on this team. So that is going to be it for Charizard, and that is it for my team this week. A few notes I want to write down before we get into this battle here. I want to mention that I did bump down the quality just a little bit, just so it would not lag. I did realize the video lagged a little bit last week, so spoilers, the video does not lag this week at all, which is absolutely amazing. And yeah, that's all you have from me. I will see you in the battle. So here we are in the battle. Alright, so let me cross out what he doesn't have. No Roselia, no Vanillix, no Skuntank, no Armaldo either, I didn't see that. And then no Toad. Oh, I got all 6 right, let's go. Okay, so I kind of predicted this would be what he bought. You didn't hear that. So let's see. I apologize if you guys hear any background noise again. It's a little bit loud in my house again. Not as much as last time, but still pretty loud. I wasn't sure I was going to lead off here because he brought me Mienshao and Heliolisk, which are both a little bit annoying for my team. Let me think here. I'm leaning SIGILYPH because it can Calm Mind up on a few things, like the Mienshao, for example, which is a good lead. Chansey, even Zygarde to a lesser extent. I think I'm just gonna lead SIGILYPH because it's only really here for Mienshao. Mienshao's a threat without it, of course, so I'm gonna lead with it. And hopefully I don't regret it. Throw is my win con alongside like Crook breaking things and CINCCINO late game, so I have a bunch of things going on here. So I gotta cross out Note Spawn while this is going on. That's a cool trainer card. As we are in the battle, and that's going to be Mienshao. Perfect. That's what I wanted to see. And we're going to go like full in. We're going to set up turn 1, and we're gonna click on mine because unless he's like banded, I should be fine here. Preferably he clicks like knockoff or U-turn because I have Colbur berry, and then I can have a good turn. So. And the Stone Edge, and he hits, so that's really bad for me. That's insanely bad. And I click, alright, so this is already a really bad start for me as he has the Stone Edge, and he didn't click the knockoff like I thought he would. Yeah, I need him to like miss. Or I could just go out into the throw. But this is really only what this thing's here for. So I'm just going to roost and hope he misses. Or he clicks maybe like switches the knockoff or something. I don't think that's banded. That might be like scarfed. Which wouldn't be bad for me because I could go with that in the throw and set up with that. He clicks knockoff. I am Colbur, and I do click roost. Stored power would have been better, As I still die, so it doesn't even matter. That sucks. Alright, so we're off to a terrible start here. And he's not choiced either, so... This is rough. I could either go out in a throw and set up, or I can go out in the CINCCINO, but with Corviknight running around, I'm not a big fan of that. So I'm still crossing out notes because I didn't cross them all out yet. This is a really, really bad start for me. I'm just gonna go into throw, I think. No, I'm gonna go CINCCINO. Yeah, I'm gonna go CINCCINO because if Corviknight's forced out, it's not the end of the world. I always have Rotom for that. So yeah. As I can still cross out. I have a lot of notes here. Oh my god. As now I'm going to just click Tail Slap. Hopefully he's not Rocky Helmet. If he's Rocky Helmet, that's a big issue. But he's not Scarfed, so I mean, like, I'm going to outspeed this, of course. And I should knock it out. I did this calc beforehand. I hope I knock it out. Mian shall... Okay, so he didn't risk it. He's going to go out into Theodore, which is the Arcanine. That was a good play. It is Intimidate. This isn't the end of the world unless it's like really defensive. Or Helmet. But I don't think you'd be Helmet on this, would you? No. The good thing about this is that it lets me fire off a Rock Blast afterwards. Which I think I'm just going to do. It will knock this thing out. This thing looks more offensive, actually, now I think about it, because I didn't even put Intimidate in. So we'll see. I don't think this thing will be Scarf. I think that would be a little bit weird against my team, though I could see it being an option. Let me see what Scarf would do to me while we wait here. I'm kind of shocked my opponent stayed in on the SIGILYPH earlier. As he goes back out into the Mian Shao here. I'm going to Rock Blast. I'm going to miss, which is amazing, because now I don't knock this out with Tail Slap afterwards. Awesome. This is bad, because now I don't have a switch into this thing. This is the freest close combat I've ever seen from my opponent. Charizard's not crazy important in this game, though it is really nice for like an offensive Zygarde if it starts getting set up. You could click Stone Edge too. This is an issue. This is not good. I need CINCCINO for late game because it's really good here still. I'm gonna go out into Charizard and hope that he does not click Stone Edge. We played this early game really bad with SIGILYPH. I have a stored power set to be fair, but him staying in just really hurt me as Close Combat comes out, so that's a little bit nice at least. It still has so much damage. Throw can still win endgame, but this just is not looking too hot here. I think a Flamethrower is fine because if you go out the Chansey, it's kind of whatever, to be honest. I'm actually slower than this thing, I just realized. So I just realized I forgot I was slower than this thing, so I'm probably just gonna die if I'm gonna be honest here. We're gonna sneak a double into throw and be a little bit aggressive. What's the switch in the Charizard? What would it be? Oh, Chansey, yeah, so we're gonna go on the throw. I don't think he will double close combat here, knowing it probably doesn't kill. He would go for knockoff or Stone Edge. And as much as I don't want my leftovers getting knocked off on throw, it's not the end of the world. If he close combats, then just a good play. As he Stone Edges, so we made a right play there. That does nothing. And I guess we can just straight up just start setting up with this thing, to be honest. Yeah, that's our only play here.
I do have the rest. This is a really good set against his team, especially if I keep getting set up. So he U-turns. That's fine. Unless he's bulk up Corviknight, I might actually be able to beat Corviknight 1v1. So we're gonna get that calc out now while we wait. I'm assuming that's what's gonna come out here. I have Storm Throw, which always crits though. I'm not sure how I feel about this. Sting, what's this? It's Corviknight, okay. So I bulk up, but I might want to switch out. I don't want to risk. Throws can still win this game for me. Throw is really important, so I'm just gonna go out on the Rotom and then Volt Switch. Or actually, I'll Will-O-Wisp because Zygarde. I don't want Zygarde coming in for free. And if I force G-Max early, that's like amazing for me. And if he has U-turn, that's gonna tell me he's not bulk up. He is bulk up. Okay, so I made the right play there, I think, by switching. And now I just click Will-O-Wisp. Making my plays a little bit faster this game. I had a game plan somewhat. This matchup wasn't the easiest. Obviously, Throw is amazing here. Crook Revenging is stupid good. But this Corviknight is going to be a problem for a lot of my team. That's why I need to keep Rotom around. Rotom overall in this game isn't that great. But with as long as it's around, I don't really lose the Corviknight on the spot. So he's gonna withdraw. He doesn't want to have this burned. If he goes on the Chansey, that's pretty good. He goes on the Mienshao. That's amazing. Please hit. Please hit. Okay, good. So now we're in a much better spot because this thing's not as big of a threat now. That's awesome. I'm so relieved. And now I might just Volt Switch because I don't really fear the move as much. Let me still calc it. It's not banded, so that's good. Burned. Yeah, it doesn't do much. I'm just going to Volt Switch out of here. If he U-turns into Zygarde, that's a really good play on my opponent's part. Expecting to go Volt Switch. As he U-turns, which that's a fine, that's whatever. But if he goes on the Zygarde, that's good play. Because Zygarde's pretty good against my team. And the only way my Rotom really deals with Zygarde is if I burn it on the switch-in, or it's not sub. Which I have a feeling it's going to be like DD sub 1000 arrows E-speed. If not, he's going to be a coil set. Set up regardless. I'm hoping he does not go into the Zygarde and goes into maybe anything else. Paradise Lost, that is Zygarde. Damn it. So I'm getting quite outplayed here. Now we're in a little bit of a predicament. Because Throw is my main switch into this thing. I don't really have a switch into this. I mean, I don't think I died of one hit from this thing, do I? It does a lot to me, but I am pretty physically defensive. I don't want it to sub in front of me. That's the issue we're having. I'm just going to go back out into Throw, because it's a safe switch-in. I could have went hard Crook. That probably would have been a better play. But we're going to see Lois come out. That's Chansey. Oh, that's amazing. Okay. As I went out into the Throw here. So that's cool. As I'll get more leftovers back. And this time, I think I'll just bulk up again. Yeah, let me just bulk up again. If this thing throws off Toxic, I'm not too scared of it. Because I do have Rest. And I have Guts Boost too, which would be even better. In fact, if this thing actually Toxics on me, I won't bulk up again. Here, I'm not sure what I'm going to see. We could see Rocks. Rocks are a little bit annoying, but not the end of the world for my team. So, yeah, withdrawal, just straight hard withdrawals Chansey. Back out in the Corviknight. Doesn't want me sent up with this thing, that's understandable. This time, I might actually throw off a Storm Throw first, just to get some damage on it. now that I'm a little bit higher on health. Me and Shell's burned, so I can always switch into that. Yeah, I'm actually going to Storm Throw this time just to see how much damage I can do. Because it always crits, of course, so if he bulks up, it won't matter. A bulked up Corviknight doesn't really scare my Rotom too much. Yeah. I could have just kept bulking up, to be honest, but this is fine. That does a lot of damage. That's, well, it's crit, obviously, but... Now I'm going to go out in the Rotom. A Body Press will hurt, but, you know, we take those. And I'm only going to... If this wasn't, like, G-Max, it was, like, regular Corviknight, I'd actually stay in and keep bulking up, but because it's G-Max, I want to try and force that out before I confidently stay in with Throw. That's why I'm making this play here. As we, I think, are going to... Yeah, we're going to force G-Max, so that's what I wanted to see here. And now, because it's Max Knuckle, again, it's going to hurt a little bit, but it won't... It's going to be whatever. And then I can burn it the next turn. And then once this thing's burned, then it's not really a threat. This thing might be a little bit more offensive, though, so again, going to sting a little bit harder than I wanted to. As it's going to go for Wind Rage, so it won't even do a crazy ton here. A little bit more than I would like, but that's fine. And now I can just burn this thing. Which is what I'm going to do. So, even though we had a really bad start here, I'm feeling a little bit more better about this matchup now, as I do burn the Corviknight, which is amazing. Now this thing shouldn't be too big of a threat. As he's just going to go for Wind Rage again. It shouldn't do too much. Yeah, that does literally nothing. Awesome. Yeah, we're getting Leftovers Recovery, which is cool. I'm going to wait to use Volt Switch till the last turn of G-Max, as I'm going to actually Pain Split this turn. I don't know how Pain Split exactly works with G-Max, but I'm pretty sure I should gain some health here because Rotom's thing is so low. Alright, I actually didn't get anything from that, so I'm going to Volt Switch after this turn because I wasted the G-Max here. And Rotom is still at a decent amount of health, to be honest, so I'm pretty happy with this exchange. And I'm not sure if Volt Switch will kill. It probably should. Well, actually, no. If it's really Spadef, then it won't. I'll just Volt Switch. Or should I pump? Because if he goes down the Zygarde, then it's just an issue. I'll Volt Switch. It's not a big deal. If he goes on the Zygarde, then I should have pumped. Or even, you know, double Wisp. I don't think. Yeah, so this was the right play. That just does not kill. Is he Policy? He's not Policy. And I can go out into something like Krookodile? Maybe? Let me see what these calcs are going to do. It's +2, but he... No, +1, but he's burned. I'll do a little bit, but nothing like too crazy. I think I'll just go out into Crook and file off with Knockoff. Or Darkest Lariat if he roosts. He bulks up again, so I'll just Darkest Lariat. No, I can knock off. He's low enough. He didn't roost. This doesn't... Okay, so that doesn't take him out. That's good. It's actually really good that didn't kill him. Now we just knock off. So after a rough start, it looks like we're starting to get back into this game a little bit. Corviknight being gone is absolutely humongous. That was probably the biggest threat to my team, next to maybe like a Spectaculask in the back. But as long as I keep CINCCINO around, then it's never a big deal. So he actually withdraws. He's going to Minshell. He goes into Zygarde, that's fine. Knock off whatever this thing has. I am banded, so it's going to sting. That does over half. That's a lot of damage. It knocked off its leftovers. He's Power Construct, and he should not be Power Construct.
Hello, as you all can see, we have a pretty obvious issue with this battle. We're already in week 2 and we're already post-comming a somewhat showdown battle, kind of a mix of both, because you saw the first portion of Wi-Fi there. We did concluded that we would create this on showdown, because I didn't want to be a dick and just take the forfeit win, because I could have done that, but I felt like it was just an honest mistake, and we would try and finish out the battle as intended. My opponent Seth did not have the time to do this on Wi-Fi, just because of how life is. Of course, I completely get it. So Showdown was fine, and I completely get it because this took 4 attempts to try and recreate, which is really annoying. Big shout out to my opponent for hanging in there with me doing this. This was a pain, but as you can see by this replay that we got it working pretty well. I did really want to recreate this perfectly because at this point I felt really comfortable in the position I was in. As you guys see on screen right now, I'm not really going turn by turn because it's really simple. Once the Corviknight Knight was low or dead, I felt like Throw could just set up and win. As you see here, Throw is doing the work to my opponent on Showdown here. So barring any like paralysis hacks and whatever, the only thing I was really scared of at this point was Glare consistently hacking me and then maybe Heliolisk being specs, but we see here it is not choice specs. And at this point, as you see, I don't know what turn it's on for your screen, but on my screen we're at the point where Throw is just sleeping and is about to clean up this game here. So you see, yeah. So Throw is, spoiler, going to win this game for us as it nukes almost everything against my opponent's team. And Throw is going to get 4 kills, and we are going to win this battle 4-0 against Seth. So GG to my opponent. Again, sorry for the ending to this battle. It's just, stuff happens. Accidentally genning the wrong ability is what he told me, which makes complete sense. Again, kind of sucks that it came down to Showdown, but it is what it is. We got our battle done, and I'm happy with the result because I won. So we're going to move up to 2-0 with a +6 differential, which is a pretty good start for us. One of the better starts we've had in quite a bit, because most of my seasons we've had more of a rough start to the seasons, but this one, 2-0, is pretty good. I guess I'll just do a formal introduction real quick for you guys. Next week we face off against Jack Gravy, the guy with the billion names. I could make that joke, but it's so worn out that we're just going to call him Gray, and his Vancouver Titans. So I'm very excited for this battle. Jack is always a fun opponent to go up against, and now that it's on Wi-Fi, it's going to be even more exciting. That's next week's battle. One more time, thank you to my opponent, and GG, thank you for the game. I will see you guys next week in the battle. That's all I have for you guys, and have a good day.